A brand new era in Savageness is set to unfold courtesy of writer David Pepose as well as artist Carlos Magno. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into issue number 1 and find out together, shall we? So then, this brand new series wastes absolutely zero time getting started. As we dig on in, we see an invisible hunter from an unknown future is stalking the streets of New York looking for their prey. Who are they after? Well, some unfortunate soul who had the bad luck of breaking time stream law. And, well, you probably don't need to be some sort of super genius to realize who this guy is talking about is none other than Conan the Barbarian. Conan is, of course, a traveler from the Hyborian Age who has been living in 616 Marvel's modern day for some time now. Oh, he's been keeping busy. Joining teams, going on adventures, fighting evil. Like tonight, in fact, he's taken his very famous sword to the heads of a bunch of set cultists. Yes, it just wouldn't be a Conan story if he didn't mix it up with some Snake Man, am I right? What Conan couldn't possibly have known, though, in his single-minded pursuit of violence is that these snake cultists also just so happened to steal a mad bomb from Alchemax. Liz Allen, one of the power players at Alchemax, reached out to her old friend Flash Thompson, the current agent Venom, to investigate the robbery and try and get the weapon back. It's actually pretty interesting to see that Liz Allen reached out to a symbiote user here in this book when we know over in the Venom book she's actually a villain against symbiote kind. Flash knows he can't handle this problem on his own, and as such he decides to reach out to Daredevil for some help, but not just any Daredevil, Elektra in the guise of Daredevil. Why not Matt, you might be wondering? Well, at the end of Devil's reign, everyone still pretty much assumes Matt Murdock is dead. Now you might also be wondering, what exactly is a mad bomb and why is it such a big deal? Well, it's a reference to a very classic Captain America story from the 70s. Essentially, when this thing goes off, it drives everyone in the vicinity into a murderous rage. And hey, while we're on the subject of rage, we're reintroduced to Weapon H. Remember this guy, everyone? One part Hulk and one part Wolverine? I'll admit I was never the biggest fan of Clayton Cortez, but once I realized that he has essentially the same beard and haircut as me, I'm willing to give this guy a second chance. Cortez just so happens to get mugged outside the very same bar where the Black Knight Dane Whitman is currently drowning his sorrows. Dane swoops on in to save Clayton from the mugger, but it's made abundantly clear that maybe someone needs to save the mugger from him. Now, just when Conan finally thinks he's mopped up the last of the snake cultists, he ends up getting shot at by none other than Deathlok. Which Deathlok doesn't matter. There's like a dozen Deathlocks, and this one seems to be from the future. Meaning he comes packing a ton of nasty new powers as well as a database on all sorts of different individuals to help give him the edge in combat. Oh, but we're not quite done building this team yet, as we still need to be introduced to our two final members, Cloak and Dagger. They're on a roof nearby talking about their lives and how they never just quite seem to be able to make it, you know? Despite their cool costumes, naming conventions, and general power gimmicks, for some reason they just never managed to make it to that next level of superhero-dom. But perhaps despite all of that, now might actually be a good time to finally pop the question and get hitched to one another. It's right around that moment the mad bomb ends up going off. Only, wait, here's the big twist. Be it fate, be it the fact that all the heroes we've met so far have a long history of battling murderous rage within themselves, the Mad Bomb just doesn't seem to affect them. Meaning that these new Savage Avengers are perfectly equipped to assemble and deal with both the Snake Cult and this new time-traveling Deathlok. This opponent manages to give them more than a run for their money. Like I said, this guy has files on basically everyone and is able to have a countermeasure for just about anyone he fights. Cloak and Dagger managed to make the biggest difference at all, holding Deathlok long enough for Conan to swoop on in and cut him up. Here's the problem though, in doing that, Conan ends up accidentally forcing Deathlok to open up another time portal, sucking everyone in. When the group comes to, they're not in New York anymore, they're back in the Hyborian Age. Yep, that's right everyone, Conan is finally home again and he's not alone. He's brought along some stragglers. How are they gonna get back? Well, I guess we're gonna have to keep reading the series to find out, won't we? And so that was Savage Avengers issue number 1, everybody, and I felt it was a very strong start for this new series. I'm always gonna be a sucker for fan favorite characters, cult characters who never get the spotlight, and this book seems to be made with that idea pretty much in mind from the jump. I like that we get the whole team united in one issue. I feel a bad habit of brand new team books is really dragging out every individual member joining by the end of the first volume. But I think my favorite thing thing about this series is actually, even though that it's made up of a lot of characters with harder edges to them, you know, that internal savagery, the book isn't necessarily trying to be edgy or in your face. In fact, it's the whole edge factor that kind of made me drop off the original Savage Avengers run, but this one seems to have a lot more going on under the hood. Gotta tip my hat to Magno on art too. There's a lot of controlled chaos going on in this series, and I'm sure that wasn't easy, and I think it's only gonna get crazier from here now that we have superheroes running around in Conan world. Overall, I'd give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10. Seems like a great start and an excellent fresh jumping on point for people who want to check out Savage Avengers but didn't read the old run.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.